Welcome to Sudoku Lesson 1, Introduction. In this lesson, teaching logical thinking. Now, hopefully you clicked on this button to bring up this video, obviously if you're listening to it. And what we've done is we've prepared for you some problems. You'll notice that this first set, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we repeated it directly below 1, 2, 3, 4, so we can understand what's going on. Over here on the right, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, same basic concept of logic. And below that, we have the numbers 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, what's important for you to know is we're going to show you some of the rules that are required in logical thinking. So, let's look at those right now. In solving this problem, on the first one, we will use the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you look carefully, you'll notice this number straight up and down, this is called a column. If you go across, that's called a row. And we also have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Now, you can only use the number one time in a column, one time in a row, and also one time in a cube. Let's look at the bottom number. Here again, we're using the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, you can only use the numbers one time in a column, one time across in a row, and one time in a cube. And we have 4 cubes. So this should allow you to solve this problem pretty easy. All right, let's look at the other set of numbers and see if the logic applies there. Okay. Here is the other set of numbers. In this case, we're going to use the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. And again, you can only use the numbers one time in a column, one time in a row, and one time in a cube. And we have four cubes. Now, that's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's look at the one below. Same logic applies. In this case, however, we're using the numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12. Again, you can only use the numbers one time in a column, one time in a row, and one time in each one of these 4 cubes. Okay, if you would, please pause the video. Well, before you do that, let me give you an example of what we're talking about. Okay, if you look carefully, you'll notice that in this column we have the numbers 1, 4, and 3. Which one of these numbers is missing down here? Well, if you said the number 2, you're correct. Because if you look over here, we have 1, now we have 2, 3, and 4. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's look at the bottom section of numbers and see if the same logic applies. Here we are looking at the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, here we have the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 in a row. However, let's look at the column. We have the number, we're missing a number here. And that number would be 5. If you've guessed it, correct. Now here's a cube. What number's missing in that cube? If you said the number, well, here's 6, 7, and 8, so we must be missing the number 5. Okay, if you would, please pause your video, then complete the problems, and then continue playing the video, and we will provide you with the answer. Please pause your video now. Thank you. Okay, using the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you look in this row, what number's missing? Here's 1, 3, and 4. If you look in this column, what number's missing? Here's 1, 3, and 4. If you look in the cube, what number is missing? The number 2. Now, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look down here, in this column, what number's missing? And if you look in the row, what number's missing? And if you look in the cube, the number 1. Same logic applies over here. You'll notice in the cube where we have 1, 2, 3, if the column 1, 2, 3, and in the row 1, 2, 3, and the number 4. Okay, let's look at the second set of numbers below and see if we can solve that one, or if you have, relatively easily. Okay, in the first column we have the numbers 1, 2, and 4, so we're missing the number 3. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's look over here in this row. Here's 1, 2, 3, so we must be missing the number 4. And we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look over here in this row and in this column. Well, first of all, in the column, we have 1, 4. What number are we missing? Look over here, and in the cube, we're missing the number 2. Now, let's look at the next set and see if the rule applies with those. Okay, you'll notice that in numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8, what do we have here? Well, if you look in the column, we have 6, 7, and 8, so we must be missing this number here, the number 5. Also in this cube, we're missing the number 5. And in this row. Now, over here in this row and in the cube, we have 6, 7, and 8, so we must be missing the number 5. That completes that one. And let's look what number's missing here. Well, in the cube, we have 6, 7, and 8, and in the row, we have 6, 7, and 8, right? And we have 6, 7, and 8, so we must be missing the number 5. And let's look at the last one and see how we did with that one. Okay. We're using the numbers 9, 10, 11, and 12. Same logic applies. Let's look in the column. Here's 9, 11, and 12. What number are we missing? Well, in the column and in the row and in the cube, we're missing the number 10. Let's look over here in this row. Here we have 9, 10, 12. What number are we missing in the column, or in the cube, in the column and the row? If you said the number 11, excellent. Okay, what number are we missing here? You'll notice that we have 9, 10, 11. What number is missing? It's got to be one of these 4. So it's the number 12. So we could have figured that out by looking at the cube. You can look at the row or at the column. Well, we hope your logic and your answers matched ours. And we'd like to thank you for watching our video.
That's all, folks.